Hey, what's up, you guys? I call myself Joshua Stonecutter on the internet. It's not my real name. Welcome to Conspiracy in Real Time, where I bring intel from the underground SS running our Earth and bring it to you. You get to choose, getting situated here, you get to choose whether or not you want to apply it to your own life. You get to choose whether or not you watch this, okay? Nobody's making you watch my show. The question is not whether I'm right about the things that I'm talking about. That's not what you need to ask yourself. You don't need to ask yourself, is this Josh guy, which is my real first name, by the way. You don't need to ask yourself, am I right? You need to ask yourself, do you want to know if I'm right or not? Do you want to know these things? You know, that's what you need to ask yourself. I had to ask myself that question, and I said, yes, I do want to know these things because stuff just was not adding up for me in my life, okay? I was raised in a Christian family. I was homeschooled. I believed I was raised in a Christian family, and I was homeschooled. These are the topics that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about what I'm smoking on. We're going to talk about the jobs and the history of my employment over the last 12 months, and things will start making sense. You'll start seeing patterns, okay? And the patterns aren't from me like being an a-hole, all right? The patterns aren't from me being impossible to work with and like a poor communicator, okay? The pattern is a pattern of abuse, and specifically narcissistic abuse, all right? Narcissistic abuse is tied in with all of this stuff. It's tied in, anyways. All right, so we're going to talk about what I'm smoking on, my job history, and then what is gangstalking, all right? Real quickly, what I'm puffing on. As far as flower goes, I'm puffing on a really good flower called Gooberry. I'm also puffing on flower called Palm Dog, Palmdog, and Mango G13. That's by Sunshine Cannabis. Concentrate, I got 9-pound hammer. That's a live butter or batter. I don't know if there's a difference or if they're the same thing, butter, batter, but it's live. So it's 9-pound live butter or batter, and it's 76%. And then I have another concentrate, that's another indica, and that's called crumpets, and that's 78%. Also for like taking, for eating, which really hits you, I got these 50 milligram indica pills. It's been raining all day today in Florida, which is where I am. And so I took the day off. I collect signatures on petitions. Anyways, I'm pretty medicated. That's kind of why I wanted to talk about the all this stuff, all this, like the, you know, I have my medical marijuana card. So, all right, here we go. We're gonna talk about like my work history, like leading up to now, and like if you're watching my show, you'll start to catch on. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, all right. So, and the last topic is what is gangstalking, of course. Okay, so I quit my job while I was working in California because I realized the people I was working with, the people I was working with at that time, the campaign I was on, and like everybody I knew, like they were all messing with me. I had an old friend that was like sending me links from the internet and like with the intention of misleading me on the subject of group stalking and gang stalking. Okay, it's just a slang term. So, and I was getting group stalked. I was getting group stalked while I was in Cali heavily. Like they were messing with me bad. So I quit my job in California and I came back to Florida. The reason I came back to Florida is because my pastor, you know, my mother, and an old friend named Spring, it was at their behest. You know what I'm saying? My mother said there was people in Gainesville that loved me and would, you know, help take care of me and figure out what was going on. Because at the time, she was acting as though she thought I was having a nervous breakdown. That's how she was acting. My friend Spring, well, she told me that she had a job lined up for me, making like 16 or 18 bucks an hour, you know, which I needed something like that because I was making, you know, like $1 to $3 grand a week. So I needed a well-paying job. I didn't need one. Okay. I wanted one. Right. And my pastor, of course, told me to come back there. But I thought it was a trap, man. It felt like a trap. And based on the way they were acting on the phone, which I'm going to get into at a later time, I'm just giving you the general synopsis. It felt like a trap. But at any rate, I quit the job petitioning. I came back to Gainesville, Florida. I flew back to Gainesville. And I got a job at 5-Star Pizza. 5-Star Pizza started out really great. I was making good money. The employees were nice. And then all of a sudden one day, the managers just started being super mean to me, like super mean. And it got worse and worse. The employees were messing with me. Like, they were talking about me behind my back and stuff. Like, I heard them like blatantly talking about me one time. It was like embarrassing, man. It like hurt my feelings. Like, I'm pretty sure I don't know if I went and cried about it at that moment, but like it really hurt my feelings. The stuff they were saying, they were talking about me as if I was just totally insane. And I was like, man, I haven't said anything crazy to these people. They weren't like relaying in like conversations they'd had with me. It was like they were trying to convince another employee there that I was nuts or something. And I was just like, what in the world? And I knew it was all related to this stuff. So there was a manager there. I couldn't understand a word he said because he always had 2 masks on. Me and him had a confrontation one night, and I got a speeding ticket for like $300. Not a coincidence. It was all planned out. I got a speeding ticket. I get back to the shop. I'm talking to the guy about discrimination. I mentioned the word discrimination because it seemed like that might be happening because I noticed that they had stopped giving me all the good deliveries. They were giving me like horrible deliveries, like that tipped horribly in like really long runs and stuff. I was like, man, this is horrible. So they fired me the next day for having a bad attitude. They told me that this guy who always wore the masks had spoken to me before about these issues and stuff, but I could never understand anything he said. I had told the manager I couldn't understand anything he said. So what they use narcissistic abuse. It's a systematic thing that they use. All right, so in Gainesville, I'm just talking about the jobs here. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on with where I was living at the time. I was living in an old church because it was all I could afford, and then I moved into a house with a dude. Both places I lived, you guys, I had some really weird witchcraft, like group stalking, spying, peeping Tom stuff go on. Anyway, so I'm just talking about the jobs right now. This is why I have notes, so I can stay on topic. So I got fired from 5-Star for having a bad attitude on the same night that I got a $300 speeding ticket, okay? And while that was going on, I transitioned houses and had a landlord that was spying on me through my closet. And I wasn't tripping out on drugs like the dude really was. It was a custom-made closet with all these boards that slid around inside and stuff, you guys. I documented some of it on TikTok. And I'm still wondering if I should call the police on this guy or not. It just seems like anytime I reach out for help, like I just get gaslighted and lied to by the police and everybody, you know? Okay, so back to the job thing. All right, so I quit the petition jobs. I go to 5-Star. That didn't work out, and I had the weird peeping Tom situation. So I got a Planet Fitness Black Card membership, jumped in my car, and drove here to the beach. And I just needed to get away. While I was here, I said to myself, why don't I just stay here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go and sleep, like, right next to the ocean, like, right where I am right now. You know what I'm saying? I can sleep with my windows open, and even, like, on a warm day, it was kind of cool out at the time. This was back in February, okay? So I stayed out of my car for a couple weeks. I got a job. I got a place to live here. Well, my first job, immediately, it was my mistake. I ended up working for a bunch of like Freemasons and I don't even know what else, you know? I'll show you the insignia for their shop sometime. It is a Freemason symbol that they have as their insignia for the restaurant. And I didn't even notice it because I wasn't like, and hindsight's 2020. While I was there, they started messing with me just in a few simple ways. I had a couple confrontations, and I would try to talk to the manager. The manager would just say that whatever it was my fault. Then they started cutting my hours. I also got COVID while I was there, which I believe I was given. I believe they intentionally gave me COVID at the restaurant. One of the employees knew that I was getting sick before I did. You know, they knew that my smell was going before I really did, which is really strange. So I ended up quitting that job just because of the bad vibes. I saved up enough money and then I quit. And then I worked at another place, another restaurant. This time I was in the front of the house serving tables. There was a bunch of weird cult activity going on there, and they were messing with me. Like, I would go to take somebody's order, like their drink order, and I would have my earpiece in, and somebody would sit there and ramble off a bunch of drink names, like Sprite, Coke, Ball, just to mess with me. They would make me run food upstairs and downstairs and up. Then they would have tables come in of people that they knew, and the people would, as a group, like as 4 different tables, would start actively messing with me, like making me run in circles, like, oh, would you blah, blah, blah. So this is how, and this is going to lead me, okay, so let me get through this, and this all leads into because I know what you're thinking listening to this. This guy's paranoid, right? I'm not, okay? The third job, it was the weirdest thing, okay? The third job, I was like, I can't do the front of the house. I'm going to go back to the back of the house. I'm going to go back to cooking, right? So the third job, I get a job. Oh, by the way, I couldn't find a job, right? I can't find a job after the first 2 because I was telling them I had worked at these other places. And all these people know each other, right? They all know each other. Like, within a few seconds, they can talk to each other. So the third job, it's obvious from the very beginning that they don't want me there. Like, the employees are like cranking the music when I get there. They're doing a ton of stuff to me, like, as a new employee, to make it, not at first, okay? It was, the first couple days were cool, and then it just started. And I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, why on earth wouldn't the manager just say, listen, dude, it's not working out for you here? Because it was obvious, man. It was this third place. It was so obvious from the get-go that they didn't want me there. But when I would bring up any issues or anything, it was like, oh, they like knew immediately what I was talking about, and like, oh, no. But there was all this like passive aggressive stuff to let me know that like I was not respected. It was insane. You know, I've worked in a ton of restaurants, man. I've worked in so many restaurants. This wasn't hazing, okay? This wasn't hazing. This was exactly what I've been experiencing, which is systematic witchcraft-like abuse. People call it gangstalking. Okay. So what is gangstalking? Gangstalking, by the way, all these restaurants, you guys, I worked really hard. Like, I worked hard. Period. I did a good job. When it became obvious that there was people there messing with me, like, I didn't know what to do. It just made me sad, man. Like, and it was so obvious that the purpose of it was to upset me, like, to tick me off, to like, I think a lot of the, well, all right, so let me go to the next subject. The next subject is, what is gangstalking? The point of, okay, gangstalking is just a slang term. Gangstalking doesn't technically exist, all right? It's group stalking. It's a slang term. It's meant to drive the person or the victim insane. It's meant to leave them either dead or disoriented, but definitely, absolutely discredited. That is the number one thing they want for targeted individuals, is being discredited. They've sent friends. I can't even tell you how many friends, family, people from church. The sheriffs all over this country are absolutely involved in it. This is as best I can figure it out, you guys. And this is after all I've been through. And this is going to help some TIs out, because I think I'm right, okay? It's like, you guys, I think I'm right. Like, straight up. I think that my parents were Luciferians masquerading as Christians. Okay? And I think what happened was, when I was a child, I believe that I accepted God, whatever that is, or whomever that is. I believe that I genuinely accepted God into my heart. That's what I think happened. So I think that starting at around the age of like, I don't remember when I did this. I was probably like 7 or 8 or 9. I just remember feeling moved. I think I was by myself in my room, and I don't know. It's just some, I just felt moved. I just felt the desire. So my hunch is, because this is the thing, you guys, I cannot find another targeted individual who is not a believer in Jesus Christ. Okay? So it's either that, or it's just the TIs are like more enlightened, and have like a higher consciousness, meaning like they don't think it's okay to do messed up stuff to kids. All right. I believe that a lot of this stuff stems from my parents. Okay. These are and they follow a script. All right. You can the stuff I told you about the hand signals yesterday, this is how you can tell somebody if somebody's involved with this. Tell them you just watched my video on YouTube, and tell them about this hand signal, and tell them about the hand to the chest, right? Tell them about this one and tell them about this one. But don't tell them about this one. Now, go tell this to your boss. Tell it to somebody who you're comfortable with, who has a ton of money, who you think might be one of these people, and see for yourself if they don't immediately go like this. It's happened to me a few times. I'm like, and the third one is the sign of disapproval. Anyways. So these are the arguments that they give against people who are being group stalked. So the first one is, you're crazy. This isn't happening. The second argument is that this is happening, right? But I did something wrong. So it's the narcissistic abuse again. It's the suggestion. This is what narcissistic abuse is, you guys. It's when you bring a problem to somebody, and then they suggest that you are in fact the problem, and they don't address whatever it is that you brought to their attention. And then the third one is to just simply, suggested something that, that I did something wrong. Who is this being done to? I think it's being done to people who believe in Jesus Christ. I think it's being done to Christians. And I think this is part of the holy war that is talked about, that people talk about. That's what I think, okay? And I could be wrong. If you are being group stalked, these are the things that you need to do. Excuse me, let me rephrase that, all right? Because my recovery kicks in. These are the things that you should do if you're being group stalked. You should change everything. Your phone number. After breaking free from the witchcraft, I had to physically change everything. And I will tell you this right now. You have the strength to do it. You have the strength to do it. When I moved here, I was making TikTok videos out of my car like this, and this is where I was sleeping that night. I kind of stopped talking about the job thing, and I apologize. I trailed off with that. The last job that I had, sorry, because I'm super medicated. So the last job I had was at the restaurant where they obviously didn't want me there. And I believe that they had me there because their numbers were going up, because SS group stalkers were coming to the restaurant. So I think they had me there because I was getting group stalked. So their numbers were going up, but they also treated me like crap at the same time. The last 3 numbers of my manager's phone number were 666. Real talk. So anyways, the petitions came back to Florida. So I quit I quit, and I went back to the petitions, because this is how I see it. If I'm going to be treated like crap, all right, if I'm going to be treated like total dog crap, I may as well get paid well for it. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, back to the subject I was talking about, the group stalking, and I was at the end. Okay, so you got to change everything. Oh, this is what I want to end with too, you guys. Okay, back on topic. If you are being group stalked, if you are going through this, or you have gone through this, because this is not something that ends, okay? From what I can tell. Unless, no, I don't think so. I don't think this is something that ends. Anyways, what I have to say to you is this, is that you have the strength. You have the strength to do this. I know that you do. And I think that's one of the reasons that this is happening to you, is because you do have the strength. You know, I think that a lot of this is tied in with research stuff. I believe that they research, like, maybe not chemicals on us. I think they research viruses and sicknesses and stuff like that on us to see how our bodies are going to react. I know for a fact that they poison us, you guys. I know they do. Since I stopped eating like regular, like places I go to all the time, or like places where you could be poisoned, like other people's houses, restaurants you would go to regularly, anything like that. Since I started eating and it's not a healthy diet, okay? I'm just eating food that could not have been tampered with. My diet, like my stomach, totally different. Totally different. And this was after suspecting that they were poisoning me and catching them a few times poisoning me, I believe, you know? I think they gave me, they put a bunch of niacin in my food one time at a 5-Star Pizza in Gainesville. I'm like 95% sure that they gave me COVID at one of these restaurants that I was working at in an attempt to get rid of me. You know what I mean? It was like early on, right? A few weeks after I started. I had traveled all over the country. I didn't get sick at all. I was collecting signatures from thousands of people. Didn't get sick at all. Then I'm working in this tiny little kitchen with these few people, and all of a sudden I get COVID? Come on, man. Come on. So, yeah, they definitely want you thinking I'm crazy. They definitely want you thinking I'm nuts, for sure, you know? And the only way my YouTube channel is going to blow up is if I figure out some way to cross-promote it using, like, another platform. Because it's never going to blow up unless you do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Or I do something about it. So, I'm trying. In the meantime, please, please, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. I'm sorry that, like, we'll talk about stuff and then we'll trail off and won't talk about it. It's because I don't like working off notes. I don't like reading a script. So any questions, you guys are free to ask me, okay? And I'm going to be covering all this stuff in detail. The church I went to, there's a whole choir of children that I can't get any answers about that came here from Africa, and I'm not sure that they were returned back to Africa. I have serious questions about a lot of stuff, you guys, a lot of stuff. And I can't get answers on any of these things. And I'm asking the right people. I'm past the point of being scared about this stuff. I'm past the point of, like, feeling hopeless and lost. I'm at the point now where, like, I want to, like, get on with my life and do something about everything I want to heal from the trauma. You know what I'm saying? And this is part of it. So, oh, my butt is sore. I hope you guys like the view, man. It's beautiful here. All right, you guys, I love y'all very much. Peace out. Conspiracy in real time.